go ahead and put some torches in here just to lighten it up a bit more so we don't have random mobs spawning in with our horses. So looking around, I debate on what I want to do for sectioning off the stable areas. First I tried out oak planks, but decided it doesn't look that great. So then I grabbed fences, which I found to be quite a bit of a better fit with how I could place them. Now, while I should have made my stable a bit wider, I found that this fits still well enough, and I could leave it like this and have plenty of room for the horses, as I could tie them up onto the fences and they would not run out. So I did not need to increase the room so I could fit in a fence gate on each of the little stable areas. Yeah, I found it worked out well enough. And voila, the actual stable building of our farm area is complete, with room for all the horses we will ever need, most likely. So now that is complete, I start to move on to my next task, which will be getting the actual farm operation up and going. Because along with working on horses, I see... Ah, man, I don't know why I'm having so much trouble talking right now, but I seek to actually further my knowledge and venture into horse breeding. So, I needed to have an area for farm goods so that I could breed horses and make better horses. As you know, each horse has stats, and those stats change varying on the horse. So, I seek to improve that. And a skeleton with explosive arrows decided to shoot me and dent up my wall. The wall of my farm area. Which, had I left that area inside there empty, it would have been full of random baddies that would have flooded out. So having an extra fence gate, I decided I'll fence off the entrance to my wheat field. Since you don't want your horses getting into your wheat fields. That can cause problems. So continuing on. I set about putting in the water for our wheat field. Well, at least measuring out where I want to have the water placed. Yet again, I work to make it symmetrical to where the water placements work out. Although I find that I did not measure out properly the place where I put the entrance of my wheat field. So that ended up making it to where one side is a bit more lopsided than the other. And here I notice how it's lopsided, so I decided to fill in that block and open up the other one, figuring that it'll work out and the areas will still get the amount of water they need to where they are hydrated. I go ahead and make an infinite water source so I can easily fill in the water. Quite simple, making an infinite water source. You just need 2 water source blocks flowing into the same block, and then you grab from the block where the water's flowing into. Mistakenly though, I didn't end up with 2 filled buckets. I filled in my infinite water source before I reached that, not remembering that I'm going to make even more farm areas. So I now make a diamond hoe. I waste the diamonds on it because usually with a hoe you don't need it too much, but it's annoying if you gotta continually make iron hoes and such because they keep breaking while you're setting up your farm. So with this, I'll have one hoe to rule them all forever. Which is what you want. You want to have that bottom bitch. And that's how it works. Really offensively. Yeah. All those hoes. There's one hoe to rule them all. The diamond hoe. Alright. It's hard work farming. You gotta till the land with your hoe. If only I could have, you know, a horse to pull along. Some better tilling equipment. Things would work out much better. And even though I know I do not have seeds to plant this entire area, I do bother clearing it all out because I know that the water will hydrate it and keep it tilled, and I won't have to till it later on. So now that I have the area tilled, I finally decided to grab my seeds and some bones and get to planting. So I move along just planting all my seeds and grab out my bones to make some bone meal. It takes 2 or 3 bone meals for each wheat to grow. Some only take 2, some take 3. Just varies depending on the plant. So now that it's all grown, I decide to harvest and collect even more seeds to expand the amount of wheat I have, but also to give me some wheat started so I'll have some bread for food. As having a farm is an important thing to have in Minecraft, as it's an infinite source of food, pretty much. It just constantly restocks and will help you survive. So using the last of my bone meal, I decided to grow a bit more, collect it, and replant the seeds, further expanding what's left, as it starts raining down on me. So I head on back to my residence, my sleeping area, and then have to struggle with inventory management so I can get my armor off so that I can sleep. Oh, Insomnia Mod, you help out so much, yet you are constantly annoying. And all. So, as I continue on, I run into an annoying skeleton and a spider and a zombie because the rain sucks and keeps them alive. So the sun can't do its job and clear them out for me. So I believe I found some extra seeds in one of the chests, and I decided to plant them. Well, I planted them just because there's extra seeds, and it's good to get as many seeds down as you can. Here I believe that some random mob had spawned and had been jumping over there, or something. Using my last torch, I put it on that middle post, just 'cause. So now as I examine, I decide, I can expand this, make a even more farm area for other crops that I do have planned. So I attempt to measure it out just by going by what I saw, and ended up mistaking and needing to move it over a little bit. There I have area for 2 evenly spaced farm areas, which will be for both pumpkins and watermelons. I currently do not have pumpkins, but I did have watermelon seeds in my pack, which would allow me to start growing. Now, I use my personal method for growing pumpkins/watermelons in this. Many people have their own methods. This is the one I found works out the easiest, so I use it just because it works out and I don't find I have many problems with it. Now is when I go, oh, should have filled up both buckets because now I need some water. So I just run on over this way real quick to grab some water from this exposed pool over here, and to check on the progress of the Japanese workforce building whatever they're building over there. So now I head back with enough water to create an infinite water source. And yet again, place 2 blocks so they're flowing into the same block. It's rather quick to completely fill out these trough areas with water. So yes, as you can see, they're completely filled. Now for planting pumpkins, how you do it is you till the one row that is right next to the water. That is what I always do. It'll hydrate it real quick and you don't have to worry about anything. Just as you can see with the melons. Now I grow up these seeds, these stems, just so that I can get some pumpkins popping in here quickly. Now I leave that other block untilled because it doesn't need to be tilled. If you've planted watermelons before, you know that what will happen is the watermelon will grow on the block next to the stem. So by leaving that row there, I guarantee where the watermelon block is going to spawn. Because it's going to spawn there right in the exposed block next to the stem, because it cannot spawn over the water, and it will not spawn on top of another pumpkin stem, or another watermelon stem. So it's a controlled way of doing it. Now, you do not want to have 2 watermelon stems able to grow on the same block, because if they're able to grow on the same block, what will happen is most of the time from both stems you'll only get 1 watermelon, which that's a loss in production for you. You want to make sure that every stem you have is producing watermelon. And here I noticed I have some potatoes, and instead of planting them with my wheat, I decided it'll be better if I create a spot for both potatoes and carrots so that everything is separate and just placed properly. And another random noise there. I thought I pointed out all the random noises in my editing, but apparently I didn't, and I just want to get this done and out so people can enjoy it already, so I'm not going to bother to fix that editing. Now here I notice that not all of these blocks might get hydrated, because I don't know if I'm correct in this, but if I remember correctly, it was 4 blocks over. That's how far water blocks can reach. Yeah. As I noticed there, that those blocks, they did not hydrate, they just went straight back to being dirt. So here I decided, oh, I'll just fix that real quick. Place down some water. I can easily grab more from that area. And then just plant my potatoes. Now as night falls again, I decide to head on back down to stick around for a little bit. Take off my armor. And get some sleep. I think I'm adjusting something on my desk right there. You might have heard the noises. I believe that at that moment I was adjusting something on my desk. It could have been the mic. I'm not sure what I was adjusting. Although mostly what you hear this entire session is just my keyboard clicking. As you can see, a couple of watermelons have grown, like I said they would on those blocks. And now I take these watermelon slices, I turn them all into seeds. Well, I only turned 8, but I needed to turn them all into seeds, because I got the perfect amount to finish off my watermelon farm there. Here I decided to take some of the watermelon, some of the dark oak, that's dark oak, spruce wood I have left over to make some more fences, as I know I'll need a carrot field. And I want to get prepared. Even though I look in my bag and I cannot find carrots, I do know that I will need a carrot field. I make it symmetrical to my potato field because both carrots and potatoes are similar in the way that they are planted and grown, in where you just plant one of the actual vegetable and boom, get it. I decided to make some bread, so I got some food to eat. Because I believe I ran out of pork chops, and I didn't want to bother having to cook stuff, so yet again steal some of their crops. I always just take the grown crops and I don't harvest the ungrown, although I could and just increase the amount I get out. But, you know, I feel like it's good to keep relations up with the villages. Even though taking their